My name is Dimitri Deheyn. I'm a marine biologist, research scientist at Scripps Institution of Oceanography at UCSD. I have a very special upbringing that made me maybe have a different take on science than a regular person. That is that I was born and raised in Africa. I was born in the Congo, raised in the Congo, in Rwanda, as well as in Peru in South America. My parents were diplomats, and so we moved around. At that time in Africa, we had no TV, no games, but nature was our playground. So we would spend hours and hours and hours observing. How does nature do something? How do termites, ants, flying ants, snakes, other things like that would build something overnight and would be destroyed by the rain. So as a kid, I really grew up observing nature, and I think that's what really brought me to try to understand how does nature do things and why. And so this background has forged my spirit of biomimicry. What can we learn from nature to develop new technologies? That's what I know now, of course, after the fact. After growing up in Africa, I'm Belgian. I have a Belgian passport. So my parents naturally sent me to college in Brussels, Belgium. And my first intention was I would go to undergrad, maybe a master, and then I'm going back to Africa, manage a marine reserve or national park or something like that. And life comes with opportunities. You create opportunities, but you also have to seize the opportunities. And so I did my master thesis, and through my master thesis, my mentor said, you should do research. You should try to continue with a PhD. I was like, well, I want to go to Africa. But you created this opportunity to position yourself in such a good place for moving forward with a PhD. You should at least try. Okay, I'll try. I tried, got of course a fellowship, and did my PhD in marine science, looking at how animals produce bioluminescence, visible light, how they do that and why they do that. After that, I was a PhD, Dr. Dimitri. And so what? I was still passionate to understand science and to understand how things work. I had an opportunity to work for the Belgian government and to look at the impact of sand dredging on the marine environment. I did that for about a year. It was instructive, but it was not the stimulation that I had to try to understand how nature functions, as opposed to understand how much impact do we have as a society on nature. So I wrote different fellowships and was awarded a NATO fellowship to come anywhere in the US for 2 years. So I came here at Scripps Institution of Oceanography in 1999, did my postdoc for a couple of years. And as I was here, I continued writing projects that eventually got funded. And with the funding, this helped me stay here at Scripps, where I still now conduct research, have my own lab, and still do research on the bioluminescent and light-producing organism and how other materials like plastics can affect them. And I only have scratched the surface of it, right? People at home are telling me, you have been working on bioluminescence from this brittle star or starfish or system for 15, 20 years. You have not found it yet how it works? No, because nature makes things in a very complicated way. And there is so much to study, and fundamental science is the key for research that will be applied one day. We have to spend the time to understand the basic elements that nature has come up with, to understand how then we can apply that in future applications. And so no, looking at nature should continue, will continue for a long time, and I will continue it.